Hello fashion lovers, welcome to the channel. Today's tutorial is going to be on how to make this beautiful turban cap. So I got just 1 yard to make this turban cap, and from this 1 yard I already made this beautiful sling bag I'm displaying on the screen right now. I'm so excited how I was able to make this beautiful sling bag and this beautiful turban cap from just 1 yard of this fabric. So if you want to know how I made this beautiful sling bag, I'll be leaving the link in the description box. So without further ado, let's get started with today's tutorial. So to make this turban cap, you'll be needing your fabric, hand needle and thread, a pair of scissors, and I have my 1-inch elastic. So what I have here is 5 inches. So to make this turban cap, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to measure my head circumference. So the head circumference I'm working with is 23 inches. So this is 23 inches, which is my head circumference, and I'll be adding extra 5 inches for gathering the elastic. After marking out the head circumference and adding 5 inches extra, so I'll be going up by 15 inches. So after cutting out what will be enough for the cap, I'll go ahead and fold this into 2. So after folding into 2, from this angle, I'll place my tape this way and I'll mark about 5 inches or 5.5 inches. So from this point to this point, I came in by 5 inches, and I'll be connecting from this point. Just use your chalk to make a curve from this point to meet this point, and I'll take this down. So the next thing to do is to fix the elastic. So I'm going to get the midpoint of my fabric. Remember, this is the wrong side of my fabric. After getting the midpoint, I'm going to open this up, and I also get the midpoint of my elastic. I'm going to place it this way. I'm going to take this to my sewing machine. I will drag this to the elastic limit, and I will sew. And I will do the same thing to the other side. So I'll just use my pin to hold this down. So you can see from this part I went in by 1/2 inch. So I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and I'm going to sew. So please, as you're sewing, make sure you leave about 1/2 inch on the elastic so it doesn't pull out after making your turban cap. So after fixing the elastic, I'll take this back to the sewing machine. I'm going to pull this, I'll stretch it, and I will bend it this way, and I'll take this to the sewing machine and sew again to cover the elastic. After fixing the elastic this way, I'll just remeasure this to see if I have the head circumference I'm working with. So this is good. The head circumference I'm working with is 23 inches, and I have 23 inches after gathering the excess. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get my hand needle and thread, and I'll be gathering this from this end to this end. I'm going to gather like this. So I'm going to start from one end like this, and I'll be gathering. So after gathering this to the center, I'm going to secure this very well. So after securing very well, I'll bring these two close like this, and I'll be sewing them together very close to this. I'll just bring this together and sew like this. So we are done making the turban cap. You can see how beautiful it's looking. So after making it this way, you should have it looking like this. So the next thing to do is to create the rose design for this turban cap. So to make the design on the turban cap, I've gone ahead to cut a very long piece of about 60 inches, and the width of this piece is 6 inches and the length is 60 inches. So you can go ahead and join your fabric together if you can't get 60 inches in one piece. So the next thing I'm going to do, so this is the right side of my fabric, I'm going to fold this and I'll close this end by 1/2 inch. I'm going to do the same on the opposite end of this long piece. So after closing the two ends, I also went ahead to iron this. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get a very little piece like this. I'll fold into 4 and I'll be making a radius of about 2.5 inches. So this is 2.5, a radius of 2.5 inches. So after cutting this out, I'll be needing 2 of this. So after cutting out 2 of this, I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and I will sew round this by 1/2 inch. So after sewing, I'll tear open just one side of this and I'll be turning this out. So after creating this, I'll be making a spiral on this just the way you do when you want to cut your flounce. So after doing this, before creating the rose, I'm using my needle and thread, my hand needle and thread, to make some gathers on this. Just a very loose gathers, not tight gathers. So just look at what I'm doing. So go ahead and make just some little gathers on it, not so much. You can see how I'm gathering this, not so much. The essence of doing this, you can see the straight piece we have is looking curvy already. So if it's curvy this way, it will be easy to sew it round the spiral. So don't gather so much. So this is just okay. So after gathering like this, just pick this up. I'm going to take this to the sewing machine. And I'll be sewing this piece on these lines. I'll be sewing them line by line till I get to the end of the line. So after sewing around the spiral, you should have it looking this way. So for this, I'll just tack it to the rest. So it's time to attach this to the turban cap. So this is my turban cap. I'm going to place this on the middle, and before tacking with my needle and thread, I'll be holding this down with my office pin before tacking. So after making sure this is well placed, I'll go ahead and tack it permanently with my needle and thread. Okay friends, this is basically all for this turban cap. Thanks for watching and see you in my next. Bye.